Ever Crisis full Yuffie breakdown, TLDR, let's go. So I'm going to stay right at the beginning of this video. Is Yuffie worth getting today? The answer is yes, but Yuffie is also a future-proofing monster, and I'll give you a few reasons as to why. And on that topic, I'm going to be giving you reasons as to both why you should and shouldn't pull Yuffie, so you walk away from this video with 100% of the information and not just my biased opinion that sways you to make a choice and then you end up regretting it down the line. That way you get all of the information. So let's jump right in here. We are going to be beginning with the Glenn stuff, because Glenn has one weapon. It'll take us no time to go over, and then we can just focus hard on Yuffie. Now, at base level 90, 5-star only, not overboosted. 236p attack is a pretty damn high stat. Boost attack and boost physical ability potency is just extra raw stats. This is super nice. The move itself also deals 520% physical non-damage with a crit rate of 10%. This is higher than most weapons, and this can go up to 1040%, giving this the title of second strongest raw damage weapon in the game, only behind Cloud's Zidane sword. Speaking of, this is a fantastic sub-weapon for that build, because physical ability potency and attack is going to just go really well with him. But the big kicker with this weapon is the fact that the main ability becomes with a circle sigil on there, meaning you do not need a materia with a circle sigil on it. You just have it built in, which is great. And then on the support materias, you also have an X sigil boost as well, so that your X sigil materia is going to be doing an additional 2 hits every time you use it. So this weapon is going to be making Glenn a powerhouse and a sigil buster. So only Glenn's, shout out to you. I know you're going to need at least OB1 of this. Then we're going to jump into Yuffie real quick. We're going to start with the outfit. The outfit looks great, but personally I think it's a little meh. It's designed well, but I think it's a little boring compared to the stuff that we have. So I actually bought the one that is in the shop, because we did get a voucher outfit that we could buy from the shop, and that is the one that was just from the event, the one that she was wearing when we kept fighting her. I prefer the look of that one, so that is there if you were unaware. Boost HP is the best stat you can get on an outfit, because either you use it to double tank yourself and combine it with your weapons that have boost HP as well, or you can trade out a weapon with boost HP and equip a weapon with attack instead, so that you can just get a bit stronger. But the big thing that we actually care about is the off-centered buff and debuff extension right here, and what this is going to do is any buff or debuff that Yuffie applies to either your team or your enemies will last longer. And because this comes with 10 points, it naturally has a 40% increase, and you're already 50% of the way up to 80%. And this goes very, very high. It's pretty nice. So we are going to be able to get higher on this as well, because the weapons that she has does also come with it. So I'm aware that you most likely have watched the other content creators before getting to my video, because I am late to this. So I'm not going to sit and go through every single one of these and make this a 20-minute video. I'm going to give you the raw basics of a few that I think are important. So the first one, the banner weapon, can increase the physical attack damage of herself and one ally, whilst also giving a little bit of a heal. This is pretty nice for multiple reasons that are self-explanatory, but it also comes with P attack and more buff and debuff extension of an extra 9 points, which will get you up into that 80% rate, and this is applying already for 24 seconds. So, yeah, this is extremely nice. Then we have this one, which is an AoE attack, so it's not doing too much damage, only 220, but it can crit. But it will reduce the physical attack of all enemies, which is nice. Comes with a bit of HP and some more buff and debuff extension time. But something that I do want to mention is that this weapon, if you make use of it, a lot of her weapons are P-attack based. They have the P-attack here. She has a high P-attack stat, but she doesn't particularly have moves that can really make use of that massive P-attack, because they typically have trade-offs. It's, you know, you're doing an attack, but it's AoE, so it's weaker. You're doing an attack, but it applies resist down to something, so you're a bit weaker. She does have a couple, but just keep in mind that some of the P-attacks might be useless depending on your choice, but nevertheless. We have the boomerang here. What this does is it reduces the fire resist of the enemies and deals a bit of damage. We have the pinwheel thing here. This is going to reduce the ice element of the enemies and do a bit of damage. Then we have this wind slash type thing here, the fan, which is going to reduce the thunder and do a bit of damage. So these three weapons are effectively the same, the only difference being fire potency and P attack, amazing sub-weapon for Cloud if you have the fire stuff. This one, HP and ice potency, great for Aerith or Tifa if you have the ice stuff. This one is going to give you P attack and buff so it's not great to put on Cloud. I don't know why they made that one different. This one is Quager, all enemies. It's kind of weak. It's M attack. This is useless for Yuffie, but fantastic for Lucia's Christmas stuff with the Earth potency. The weapon that we really care about is the Twin Viper right here. At level 90, this is doing 320% physical, non-elemental damage with a 10% crit rate, but it can apply poison. Now, I know some of you maybe looked at this and thought, oh yay, cool, another stat that we can't actually apply, because Lucia has a gun that can apply silence. Nothing can be inflicted with silence. It's a waste. This is not the case. Poison works, okay? If I tab out here, I have a notepad. I have found a couple of enemies that are actually poisonable. The twins, Wu and Tai, the things from Crisis Core, the big monsters with the clubs, can be poisoned. Reno can be poisoned. The bird bosses, the big fire and the ice birds, they can be poisoned. The different Sahagins can be poisoned. The different types of dragons, the blue and red ones, can be poisoned. Balior and Balior King and the likes can be poisoned. The third-class soldiers can be poisoned. The Levrikon, which is the ostrich thing, can be poisoned. And most enemies that aren't machines can also be poisoned as well. Although you probably one-shot those anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But nevertheless, now you know, they can be poisoned. But how exactly does poison work? So it is not based on your damage at all. From what I can tell, it is the same as the way that most Final Fantasy games use poison. That is, it is based on the enemy's max HP. So it doesn't matter if the enemy is on full HP or 10% HP, you will deal the same amount of damage with the poison. So it can just tick down until the enemy dies. So the more HP the enemy has, the more poison damage that poison will be doing. An example of this is I was fighting the most difficult co-op Reno yesterday, and I was doing 2,500 damage per poison tick, which is a lot for saying I'm doing nothing. This is applied for 24 seconds, and if you do get it higher and higher, it can increase to 30. But 24 seconds at base, and then you have your outfit on and another weapon on, which can increase it by like 80%, you're looking at probably the entire fight's worth of poison, so you can spend that time doing something else. Now, this does come with boost attack, which is really nice, but it comes with boost limit break potency, and I'm going to explain now why I think that's actually a bit of a downside. Your opinion may differ here, but if we go to her stat stream, she has 2 limit breaks, obviously, like everybody else. Bloodfest is a raw single target damage, just like everybody else has. I personally would not level this whatsoever. That would benefit from that C ability we just looked at, but her Clear Tranquil ability will not. Unless it maybe affects healing, but I'm unsure. This is the ability that you probably want to be leveling. It will increase the P attack and M attack of your entire party by mid-potency, as well as cast regen and do a 30% magic heal. This is a one-for-all everything to your entire team. It can go up to high potency, but that is under the assumption your characters are already buffed when this limit is used. That's a hassle to try and set up, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yes, this is an absolutely phenomenal limit break. The time is 10 seconds. At level 1, it might get significantly higher at level 6, 7, whatever. But nevertheless. Now, let's get into some reasons why you might not want to pull a Yuffie. If I go to the synthesis and I go to my materia stuff here, I've turned off the recipes so I can see all of the materia that at least currently Square Enix believes is going to be in the game. Lightning Breach, Ice Breach, Fire Breach. Now, these are already in the game. You can buy them with Crisis Medals. So, do these make Yuffie's weapons kind of useless? Maybe. Now, the weapons can go up to mid-potency, maybe high potency. I didn't actually think to check. They can definitely do more than these materia can, okay? So, they're not just one-for-one making them useless, but they also are incredible sub-weapons for the other characters. So, this, in my opinion, does not make them a waste of time. She also lowers the attack of enemies and stuff, so Defaith and Debrave is also here as well. But, you know, the moves are still better than the materia. The big one is Bio. Bio is a materia, and we will be getting it at some point. It does a little bit of damage, and it has a 40% chance to hit for 30 seconds. This one is more of a, this does kind of cancel it out a little bit. But the move itself on Yuffie does deal damage, and, you know, it's a trade-off, but whatever. However, there are things that are probably coming to the game that are not listed here. So if I go to the events real quick, and I go into Sephiroth, who is immune to everything, this will give us a nice idea of everything at the same time. Sephiroth is immune to Poison, Darkness, Silence, Stun, Fatigue, and Fog. Why would somebody be immune to status elements if they weren't ever going to be capable of actually being afflicted on him, right? These are statuses that we most likely will be capable of inflicting at some point in the future, and Yuffie's buff and debuff extension time is going to apply to all of this. Great examples, poison can, it's just damage that is ticking passively throughout the entire fight. It's beautiful. Darkness can stop enemies hitting you at all. Imagine this on the Iron Giant. That's always been a strat in Final Fantasy. Silence will stop people being able to use their moves. Stun stops them being able to fucking breathe, basically. Fatigue and Fog is probably a bit meh, but whatever. But who's to say that we don't get other status effects in the future as well, like Haste, Slow, Frog, Mini and Small, all of these things, maybe Reflect, I don't know. Yuffie could be getting absolutely busted in the future, and those are the reasons that, she's probably very, very worth getting. But on that note, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, sub if you're not, and I will catch you in the next TLDR video.